Hi, this is Kathy with Barefoot Mountain School of Herbs, and in this video we are going to discuss mullein. We'll talk about how to find it, identify it, and process it into herbal medicine. The information presented in this video is intended for educational purposes only and is not meant to give any medical advice, diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. Please do your own research and prayerfully make your own decisions regarding your use of herbal medicines. Now, mullein has a long traditional use in herbalism over multiple cultures. It is one of those herbs that is very beloved by herbalists because it is so effective and it is so useful. We use the first year leaves for respiratory issues. Now, mullein is a biennial, so the first year it puts up leaves, and the second year it'll put up the stalk. We use the first year leaves because that is where the energy is in that first year. It's putting all of its energy and nutrition into forming the leaves. So we use the first year leaves for respiratory issues because they are a great herbal expectorant, and they're very soothing to the lungs, and they are anti-inflammatory. So for things like asthma or anything that you have with a lot of chest congestion and that sort of thing, mullein leaf tincture is awesome for that. The second year, we're after the flowers, and the flowers are what has been used in the traditional earache oil for generations. The flowers are known to be analgesic, pain relieving, and they are also anti-inflammatory, and they also have some antimicrobial features. So it makes it perfect for an earache oil, but also you can make a tincture out of the flowers and a little bit of the stalk for pain relief. So the second year, we're after the flowers more than anything. Now, the roots have been traditionally used for bone and joint pain. And of course, we want to use the first year roots after the leaves have faded. So kind of in the fall, when the plant's energy is going back into its roots, that's where it's putting all its nutrients, and that's when the roots are going to be the strongest. Now, if you can't find a first year mullein, go ahead and use a second year mullein. They still have the same properties. They just might be a little weaker, but go ahead and use the second year mullein if you can't find the first year. Now, there were quite a few scientific studies on mullein, and most of them just kind of give a nod to the traditional uses. They don't really study them. It seems like that it's already been studied and accepted in the scientific world, the traditional uses for mullein. So, like this one, we have health promoting in disease, mitigating potential of Verbascum thapsus, which is common mullein, a review. And they just go down here and go through the antiviral, antioxidant, analgesic, sedative, anti-inflammatory, hypnotic, antibacterial, antifungal. These are the things that have been studied and found in scientific research. But all of these studies say that it's been used as a medicine for lung, skin, throat disorders, astringent and calming, and that sort of thing. An extract from the root is useful in toothache, prevents stiffness and seizures. This one over here is a pharmacological properties of Verbascum thapsus, a review. And then down here it says that it has been used as an alternative medicine for centuries for treatment of asthma and other pulmonary complaints. The seeds are an aphrodisiac and narcotic in nature. Some people are saying that the seeds are poisonous. I've never used the seeds. We always just use the flowers for the pain relieving properties. The value of grape mullein as a proven medicinal herb is backed by scientific evidence. Research indicates use as an analgesic or pain reliever, antihistamine, anti-inflammatory, of course, that's a biggie, anti-cancer, antioxidant, antiviral, antibacterial, cardiodepressant, estrogenic, which is, for female issues, fungicide, hypnotic, sedative, and pesticide. The leaves, roots, and flowers are anodyne, which is the pain relieving, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antispasmodic, astringent, demulcent, which is you know, the the moistening agent, a diuretic, emollient, which again is the moistening agent, expectorant, which is, it gets the phlegm and stuff out of the lungs, nervine, and vulnerary, which is wound healing. They go through here a review of the mullein oil, and an infusion of the flowers and olive oil is used as the earache drops, and it is a strong antibacterial. It's just perfect for earache drops. But anyway, it is all backed up by scientific research. So now we're going to go over how to identify mullein. So as I mentioned before, mullein is a biennial. The first year will peek its head out of the ground in the spring, and it will have thick, fuzzy leaves in a rosette pattern. The edges are mostly smooth, and it will usually persist through the winters. You can find this plant pretty easily even in the winter. Now, the second year mullein will send up a tall stalk, and it will stand up to like 4 to 10 feet tall, with the leaves growing 6 to 8 inches. And then it will bloom with little yellow flowers on the stalk that come out like in various times. They don't come out all at once. They'll bloom over a period of time. Now, this is a close-up of the flowers. Mullein does have a couple of lookalikes. One of them is poison, so we have to be careful about that. And that is foxglove. So you can see here the foxglove leaves on the right and the mullein leaves on the left. And as you can see, the mullein leaves are going to have mostly smooth edges. They might have some curls in the edges, waviness, but foxglove leaves are pretty much toothed along the edges. And probably the best way to tell them apart, if you're not comfortable, is to wait until the flower stalk comes up. And as you can see on the left, the mullein flowers are very different than the foxglove flowers on the right. I think there are some yellow foxglove, but as you can see, the flowers are very different. So, if you have any doubt, then collect your leaves and everything from a second year that has the stalk already, where you can positively identify that it's not foxglove. But probably the biggest look-alike to mullein is lamb's ear. And the mullein leaves in this picture is on the left and the lamb's ear is on the right. And as you can see, the lamb's ear are actually fuzzier, and they kind of have like a silvery appearance. And lamb's ear does not form, in my experience, as organized a rosette as mullein does. And lamb's ear kind of spreads everywhere, whereas mullein stays in its little rosette. But I have seen pictures where it forms a pretty good rosette. So, but you'll have to look at the fuzziness and the silvery tint of lamb's ear. And lamb's ear is also a good medicinal. It just doesn't have the same qualities as mullein. So, but it's not poisonous. Okay, so now we're going to go over how to use mullein. So the first year leaves, and as I said before, if you can't find a first year, just go ahead and get second year leaves. But if you can find first year leaves, that would be better. And you just want to chop your fresh leaves into little tiny pieces, and you tincture it in half pure grain alcohol, and half spring water in a 1:2 or a 1:3 ratio. If you just want to do a folk tincture, just chop up your leaves real fine and put them in a jar and cover them with vodka or half Everclear, half spring water, just until it's covered by about 1/4 of an inch. And then, of course, you let it set for about 6 weeks, and you shake it every day, and then you press it out real good and strain it. You can also dry mullein for teas. You want to strain your tea before you drink it, because mullein does have some little irritating hairs that can irritate your esophagus. So just strain your tea before you drink it. And then of the tincture, you want to take a dropper full 2 to 3 times a day for lung congestion or irritation. Now for the mullein flowers, if you want to make the earache oil, then you're going to put some wilted flowers in a small jar with olive oil, and you want to soak it for 2 weeks in a warm place. Now, the way that the flowers come out, they come out just, a few every day. So you might have to make several trips back to the mullein plant if you're not in a large quantity of flowers. What I do is take my little jar of olive oil, and I collect the flowers as I find them. So I leave it in the car because it's warm, and so that'll be, it'll help the oil infuse with the mullein flowers. And then I just collect the flowers as I find them until I have filled up my olive oil with mullein flowers. And I also include a small part of the stalk. It has a calming, analgesic, pain relieving effect, so it's great for the earache oil. So I just snap off about probably an inch or so, 1 to 2 inches of the top of the stalk, and I also include that in my earache oil. And then you want to let it sit for a couple of weeks in a warm place, and then you want to strain it, and then of course let it sit for the sediment and water to fall to the bottom. If you don't know how to make an infused oil or how to get rid of the sediment and water, then watch. I have a video on making an infused oil, so go watch that, because you do want to pour off the good oil and leave the sediment and water behind to keep it from going rancid on you. And then you bottle it. And then for earaches, you want to place 1 to 2 drops in the affected ear 2 or 3 times a day. It's very soothing, pain relieving, and it also helps with whatever infection is in there. It also can be used as a salve or a rub for inflamed skin or rashes. Now you can also take the mullein flowers and a little bit of the stalk, and you can put it in a tincture for a pain reliever too. So that is something that I've done this year as well. And for the mullein root, you want to wait till the end of the season when the leaves are kind of fading and the plant's energy is going back into its roots. And then you dig up the root of a first-year mullein if you can find it. You want to wash it well and grate and chip it up into tiny pieces, and then do a tincture with half pure grain alcohol and half spring water in a 1:4 ratio for 6 weeks. And then you press it, strain it, and bottle it. For that, you want to use 1 to 2 dropperfuls 1 to 3 times a day for painful inflamed muscles, bones, or joints. And that is the end of our video on mullein. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.